When we're writing a story or a novel, we can often get very involved in the creation of our main character, our protagonist, but don't forget the antagonist. So what is an antagonist and how do you write a really great one? Let's talk about it. Welcome to the series How to Be a Better Writer, where I take you through the A to Z of everything you need to know to make your writing great. Today's topic is antagonist. Every story needs an antagonist. This is the force, usually a person, but sometimes not, that stands in the way of your main character or protagonist from achieving their goal or objective. But it's not enough to just throw a villain into the mix and not think too much about it. If you want your writing to be great, you've got to make sure that your antagonist is as fully developed as your protagonist. What this means is they've got to have a bit of backstory, they've got to have layers, and it's not enough to have them just be evil. Just like it's not effective to have a protagonist who's only good, it's not very satisfying to have an antagonist who's only bad. So if you find yourself writing a story where the antagonist is just evil without there being any particular reason for it, then you've got a little bit of work to do. So let's practice. Our first step is to create a protagonist. So you can use a character you've already created. If not, you can make one up for the sake of this exercise. You've just got to come up with a character and what they want more than anything else in the world. If you need some help here, how about this guy? Take a minute or two to jot down your ideas, pause the video, and then keep going when you're ready. Next, it's time to decide who is going to stand in the way of your protagonist. So let's make our antagonist. Just like with your protagonist, you've got to decide what the antagonist wants more than anything else in the world. And most importantly, this should be something that is in conflict with what the protagonist wants. So take a few minutes to explore this, pause the video, and keep going when you're ready. So if you're curious, this is what I came up with. I've got my protagonist who's a baker, and what he wants more than anything else right now is to go pick up a TV that he found for sale on Facebook Marketplace. The person who's selling the TV needs it to be picked up in the next few hours, so our protagonist needs to ask his boss if he can leave work early. The antagonist is the boss. Normally they have a good working relationship, but lately the owner of the bakery has been coming down on the boss, accusing them of being slack with the employees. So what the boss wants more than anything else in the world is to prove the bakery owner wrong and demonstrate that they can be a tough leader. Do you see where this is going? And do you also see how the story instantly becomes less interesting if our boss antagonist is just tough and merciless without there being any reason behind it? So remember, when the antagonist has their own desires and their own objectives and their own reasons for their behavior, then the story that you write from that is going to be so much more satisfying and interesting to read. So here are 4 final tips for writing a good antagonist. Number 1, remember that your antagonist doesn't always need to be vanquished. They could have a change of heart by the end. Think of the movie Ratatouille and the food critic who undergoes that drastic change in the end of the film. Number 2, the antagonist can be internal. A lot of times we are our own worst enemies. You can have a character who stands in their own way. To take an example, the movie Kiki's Delivery Service, most of the conflict comes from her self-doubt and needing to overcome that. 3, the antagonist can be a force of nature, something like a natural disaster. But do keep in mind that if you do that, you might want to bring in some kind of lesser antagonist in the form of a human character, because otherwise the plot might become kind of one note. You want to still have a little bit of interpersonal tension to keep the story compelling. And finally, 4, antagonists probably don't see themselves as evil. We are all the main characters of our own stories, and our antagonists are no different. In fact, you can sometimes make them even more sinister if they are oblivious to the evilness of their actions. So take, for example, Professor Umbridge from Harry Potter, or the main characters in the movie Zone of Interest. So there you go. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, and if you have any other questions about how to write a great antagonist, please let me know.